How we doing? My name is Mr. Tinklenberg. This is my website, um, and I'm going to just kind of talk to you about kind of the lesson here, the unit, the assessments, and kind of go from there. So here's just a quick overview, talking about what it would take. It would probably take about a week in time, if not more. It's for a ninth grade high school social studies classroom. This is going to focus on industrial revolution and progressivism, as you can see. Um, so I'm going to kind of go through here. You can look at the about me, but I'm going to kind of jump right into the lesson plans here, um, so we can take a look at what some of those look like. If this would work. Okay, lesson plans. So I'm just going to quickly go through these because otherwise this would take the entire 10 minutes. If you look here, I have kind of a summary of what it is kind of going on currently in the nation at this time, in terms of where we're at, 1877. This is kind of the topic right here. Here's your content statement. I kind of elaborate on the content statement to kind of dive in a little more so that people are 100% sure. A lot of kids or even parents or even teachers go, what the heck does this content statement mean? What does this really mean? Um, well, here's kind of the summary of it. Well, if this would, here's kind of the summary of it right here. Here's my expectations for learning in terms of what I want them to learn, my instructional strategies, and then here are the resources I would use in that class, the technology used in that class. And then at the end, we have essential questions and daily assessments. Now, these can be used at the beginning of the class. These can be used at the end of the class as like an exit ticket. These could be questions that you'd use on a test. But basically, these are the major questions that I'd be looking for them to be able to answer, um, based on each lesson. So as you go down, same thing. Once again, a little summary of where we're at. Um, Topic, content statement, content elaborations, expectations for learning for that specific unit or this portion of the unit. Here are my instructional strategies, what I would do for this lesson. Once again, let me remind you, these probably would take more than one period. Here are the instructional resources used. This PowerPoint that I use in lesson one would probably kind of go throughout the entire lesson. And there are guided notes that go along with it. So that would go through the entire unit. My apologies. Anyway, I just wanted to give you that information. Moving on, once again, we'll just go down to here's lesson two again. Here's the end of it. They'd finish with, you can read through exactly what they'd be doing. But at the end, I have all of these instructional resources are used or technologies are in the assessments portion. Here's lesson three. Once again, this is more focused on immigration. Here's the expectations for learning. This would take place in a computer lab, so a lot of technology being used there, obviously. Here they would use Weebly to answer a blog-based or journal-based question, and it would be based on a hypothetical immigrant. They could find primary resources online, which I put right here, and they'd just be discussing, changes in their lives. They'd be creating a hypothetical immigrant, and they would kind of just walk through what a daily routine would look like, how their lives would change, things like that. So the essential questions right here, obviously, how did immigration or immigrants of the 19th century change and influence American society? How was life different? So on and so forth. Lesson four is focused more on the political side of it, and also how racism was kind of institutionalized, in terms of Plessy versus Ferguson and Jim Crow laws, and we jump into that. This would be basically this would definitely take a couple days because there's a simulation here at the end that I'd want to do, which you can take a look at. Chromebooks would be passed out here in this portion of the or of the unit, when we get to this lesson, so that they can start looking up primary sources for Plessy versus Ferguson. We really dive into primary resources so that they get firsthand accounts of what's going on. And then lesson 5 deals with kind of the reforms that happened. Um, you know, I want them to take a look at progressive reforms during the late 19th, 20th centuries that address some of these problems that we saw with industrial capitalism, urbanization, and political corruption. So they could create a chart, and then at the end, I'll show you all of these assignments here um, that they can take a look at. Okay, so Chromebooks will be used again. Here's a digital history website that I think is great. Has a bunch of primary sources relating to the progressive era for students to interpret, so they can use their Chromebooks to do these charts and go from there. Okay, so if we go up here, and if we were to go to, if this can load here, if we go to the assessments page, okay, so if we go to the assessments, if this wants to work for me. Okay, so here are all the assessments used. I discuss in detail right here which one would be, which one is for which use. So the first 2 documents is the PowerPoint and guided notes that go to this particular part of the unit. As I said, this PowerPoint and guided notes, this would go for most of the unit, at least the first 2 to 3 portions of it. The last file is what students will be filling out as they found information. So I will pull those up and we can take a look at those right now. Here is kind of their notes that I would want them, this is the information that I would kind of want them to have, kind of focus on, okay? This PowerPoint goes through and is extremely detailed. It goes on for a while. It's not like a ton of information, but we cover a lot of information in terms of from the beginning to the progressive movement all the way down. Okay, so like I said, this really hits every portion of the unit. So we would go through this a little bit probably every day, and kids could take notes. Here are some of the things that in the beginning I'd want them to focus on. This would be like kind of right off the bat. So I go through and have like a sample, and then I give like kind of the answers. So there's my answer key to it. So there's the first assignment, and this is kind of what the PowerPoint would look like for the entire unit, if that makes sense. Okay. So you could go through and take a look at all these files. Like I said, I have all the things listed. These are all the files that you need listed. There are some other things you could have, but these are kind of the main hitting points here that students would be learning. Here's your simulation. You can download that file and take a look at it, read through it. And then here are the last 2 things, which are kind of their big, this is worth 100 points, and then here's their test. So I'll kind of quickly show you what those look like. This is the one titled Bloom's Taxonomy Worksheet. It would be worth 100 points. They can do any combination of these questions to add up to 100 points. Okay, and this would serve as kind of a way to get some points before their test, to take a look at questions that I would have on the test, things that they should be kind of focused on, and it's a really cool assignment for them to be able to pick, because as you go down, there's more work involved. So for them to be able to pick, what questions do I want to focus on? Do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? Some prefer to do evaluations, some prefer to do synthesis, some prefer just to do quick applications, comprehension questions, so they can do whatever they want with those. And then here's a look at the final test. You can take a look through that, but that's what the final test would look like. And then at the bottom, I have all the answers. To finish here, here's all the list of technologies that I used. There's probably many more that I would end up using in this unit, as I would think of something, but here's the ones that I have, at least right now, for this unit. Here's my peer review. So you copy and paste that link, and then if you go to the more section, It has here's my implementation and reflection. I will definitely use this year, there's no doubt. And in terms of the reflection, and I'll go through and fix that. But in terms of the reflection, I didn't know how I was going to do all this to start or some things I'd use, and I found a lot more things that I'd use in this unit and in these lessons that can add to their learning, that can give them more options, things like that. So overall, this was really cool. I learned a lot about it. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope this makes more sense, and let me know if there's anything I need to add. Thank you.